It's 4:20 somewhere, and right now that somewhere is right here. Hello, I am Janae Burris.
And I'm Jake Brown. Welcome to the Cannabis Show, where we talk all things weed.
We do.
You're here. How was your Labor Day weekend?
I took the day off and just lounged around.
Well, you get days off? What happened?
Nobody wanted sandwiches for Labor Day is what happened, so
it's not,
I got
it's
lucky.
not a sandwich holiday,
It's not really
right?
a sandwich holiday. It's more of a barbecue holiday.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
What?
Was that even up for debate?
There's bread.
Definitely
and
not.
Meat between bread. Why not?
That's like a round meat. I feel like a round meat cannot be made into a sandwich. I don't know. Not in that form.
What meat is not round?
Sandwiches are about stacking.
Okay.
So you can't stack a hot dog, really.
We cover the important stuff here at the Cannabis Show. Weigh in. Tweet at the Cannabist if you think that hot dog is a sandwich.
You'll lose. It's not. You're wrong. You're dumb. Stop it.
Stop.
What's going on with you?
I have my third engagement party this weekend, celebrating 3 years of being engaged last year.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, Engaginator 3, Rise of the Dope Fiends. We always try and make it movie
I mean,
themed.
is this the one where we're going to walk in and it's going to actually be a wedding?
Is it
time?
secret wedding?
Secret. I'm going to come dressed for secret wedding.
That's what I want everybody to do. Show up in your most formal, and then we'll have some hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then we'll have hot dog time. It'll be a lot of fun. I hope you come out.
I'd love to.
All right.
You made some good pulled pork last time I was there, so I'd love to.
Doing pulled pork. We're going to have a bunch of leftovers from the grow-off brunch that we're going to give people.
I love leftovers. It tastes better the next day, in my opinion.
All right. Well, then you're in.
I'm invited.
Janae's in.
Snagged an invite, y'all. Who wants to be my +1 to this secret wedding?
Ooh. All right. That's also a Twitter game.
Yeah. Send me a good pot or not. You can be my +1.
Ooh. All right. Well, now let's go for the weekend weed. Let's kick things off in the nation's capital, where Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz wants to protect cannabis research at the state level, according to our own Alicia Wallace. We talked about this 3 weeks ago, how the Department of Justice under Jeff Sessions has been ignoring research inquiries like a Facebook friend request from your grandma. But Gaetz's amendment to the Consolidated Appropriations Act would prevent the AG's office from using resources to go after scientists, protecting universities that might be interested in studying weed. Now, the freshman congressman didn't mince words when he said, quote, "I don't think anybody's waving pom-poms for cannabis research over at Justice," unquote. Now, while he still stands with the presidents on matters like ending DACA, for example, Gaetz' amendment shows that medical marijuana is gaining bipartisan support, but it's still very early and it needs to clear the House Committee on Rules, so stay tuned for updates. Hashtag Gatesway Drug.
Gatesway Drug. Yeah, DACA's really in the news hardcore right now.
Flows right off the tongue.
Flows right off the tongue. As if the wonders of marijuana couldn't get any more wonderful. The price is now lower than ever, and that's great news because my budget is tighter than the elastic on Donald Trump's eating sweats, and much tighter than his grip on reality. Lucky for us, the quality has not declined, and no matter if your preference is for high-end organic buds or pre-rolled joints filled with random shake, the product is great. Keith Humphreys, professor of psychiatry at Stanford, who's been watching the price decline since recreational marijuana went to retail, believes that the prohibition of marijuana, as well as social stigma and the threat of jail time, are responsible for keeping use at a minimum, and that these decreases in price will lead to excess in use. He uses the data in this economic study to point to the potential of seeing more illegal drug use if the price of drugs like methamphetamines and cocaine drop. Hey there, professor, there is already a cheaper version of cocaine. They call it crack. And you're right, Professor, it's quite popular. But it's not just the price that keeps customers coming back.
A new study shows that kids in Washington state aren't smoking more jazz cabbage in the wake of legalization, but adults definitely are. Now, this comes from the Washington State Institute for Public Policy, and students in the 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th grades either had similar or lower rates of consumption, which is great for their growing little brains. Nice work, kids. Now, this is the same state, remember, that had the anti-drug campaign, "We're Hispanics, we're cool by default," that Janae covered, one of her favorites. Yeah. Now, Now, while that one may have missed the mark, it highlights how cannabis funds are going to youth education across the country. The Denver Post's own Monty Whaley had a great piece you need to read on the site about the $9.2 million that went to schools here in Colorado, making it possible for them to hire nurses, social workers, counselors, and more.
Yeah.
I think when I would go to the nurse, it was just with a fake headache so I could sleep through gym.
Oh man, that's why they don't even have nurses anymore.
You
put nurses out of business, school nurses.
They said that's crazy. So there's an average, like student or nurse, the student to nurse ratio is about 1 to 6,000 in Colorado, where the recommended amount is like 1 to 650 max. So it's really good. These kids are getting help.
I like how you should have demanded that people go and read the story.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, listen, I wouldn't do it justice. It was that he interviews this nurse. Yeah,
what did I say on Reading Rainbow? Check it out for yourself.
Check
read
it
it
out
yourself.
Don't sue us, Reading
Don't
Rainbow.
Don't take my word for it. Okay, yeah, no, I won't quote you exactly. Hey there. If you haven't already made plans for Friday, September, did you make plans already for Friday, September 8th?
I have no idea.
Did you make plans for September, Jake?
What is happening?
It's September 8th. Why not visit CU's Museum of Natural History? Museum of Natural History. Check out Cannabis, a visual perspective. Botanical artists who sketch the most intricate details of plants have held the important task of helping scientists identify plant species for centuries, long before photography came to be. The juried selection of 20 illustrations is presented by the Rocky Mountain Society of Botanical Artists. The museum, it flows. The museum event and communication specialist Suzanne Balog says that besides exploring the plant's diversity, the exhibit will also spotlight CU's state-funded research grant, which is being used to study the effects of high-potency cannabis. Attention to detail is crucial for the artist in order to be a real aid to science and medicine, but the pieces are also beautiful to see, with artists submitting works in the form of watercolor, acrylic, oil, colored pencil, pastels, print, and mixed media. This exhibit opens this week and runs through January 31st, 2018, and it's free. That sounds like a really great date.
I'm in.
For an almost wife.
For an almost wife. In spring of 2013, Maryland watched Joe Flacco get a record-setting extension, and the governor signed into law a medical marijuana program. It's hard to say which one has been the bigger disaster. Sorry, Ravens fans, you made the playoffs once. Since then, you got owned by my Pats.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, the medical marijuana program has been mired in accusations of shady dealings and lack of diversity. But this week, the first plants are finally being grown. The only problem? Where can you actually buy the weed? To date, only one dispensary has been approved, with around 100 still in the process, having until December to get signed off on, which puts a lot of pressure on one of the worst departments in legal weed. Hopefully they can do better than Joe Flacco in their proverbial fourth quarter.
Dang.
Also, can you tell I'm ready for football?
You are so terrible with these Pats. Nobody wants to hear about them.
No, literally no one.
No one.
It's the worst. For more on this and all of these stories from the Week in Weed, visit us online at thecannabis.co. We'll be right back after this. Our guest today is helping bring world premieres here to Colorado. Please join me in welcoming Amy Hildebrand to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So good to have you. We first met, I heard about you because there was this crazy campaign that was all over Facebook, and it was talk to the 6630507 hand.
That's correct.
That's the only number I've ever gotten right. But what a cool idea for a campaign. How did that start?
Thanks. It's ironic. I studied in school in an honors course, and the book that we were reading was called Marijuana Myths, Marijuana Facts.
Okay.
This was back in 1999, I believe, 2000. And in that book, I stumbled across that particular patent. It really didn't mean much to me at the time, But after we had relocated to Colorado for our teenage son, Austin, who has seizures, it really became very relevant in my research.
Sure.
And when the DEA chose not to reschedule or remove cannabis from the Controlled Substances Act, I literally was so furious. I got up from watching TV with my husband and I wrote that patent number on my hand and took a picture of it and posted it online, because that particular patent proves that cannabis is non-toxic, non-lethal, and medicinal, and really disqualifies it from being listed on the Controlled Substances Act. I would have never dreamed that it would have gone like it did.
It was viral.
It was viral.
All of a sudden, you've got Willie Nelson who's doing a picture. Who else?
Woody Harrelson.
Woody, who is taking a break from weed right now.
Yes,
but
yes.
See, even people that are abstaining for a bit can still recognize.
Absolutely. Well, it's, you know, Woody is a firm believer in our constitutional rights and our rights that this is America. It's our right to choose what we consume. And obviously, as a parent, it should be my right to choose the safest option for our child. And Austin had been on 10 years of pharmaceuticals, and they didn't stop his seizures. He would have dozens or hundreds of seizures every day. And they started shutting down his organs. We lived in Oklahoma. My husband is a Republican, non-cannabis consumer. He's a fireman. And the doctors told us that our son had 2 years to live because of the organ damage caused by the pharmaceuticals that hadn't stopped his seizures.
Well, and spoiler alert, Austin's been kicking ass lately.
Austin is
Sorry
kicking
for swearing,
ass.
but yeah, he is.
He's doing amazing.
How long since his last seizure?
We're another week with no seizures at all.
Awesome.
And we had, it came off of 2 months of no seizures, and we haven't had that in our world in 12 years since he started seizing. And so
and it's
because he's a cannabis patient. Yes, he takes multiple different methods of ingestion. We have a roll-on, we have an intranasal spray, we utilize topicals, we utilize edibles, and he's off of the pharmaceuticals entirely. He's completely weaned off of the pharmaceuticals.
Congrats.
And the last hospitalization we had, which was over 1.5 years ago, there was no more damage to his kidneys or his liver. So it has completely repaired the organ damage that they said would kill our son. So we are obviously huge advocates because it saved our child's life. When 10 years of varying pharmaceuticals did nothing but damage to our boy. When
you uprooted your life to do that.
Yes,
and
we did.
So I know that you work with other families. What are the big issues that people aren't talking about? Is it easier for Austin to use at school, or does he have to leave the school?
Because Austin is so complex, and where we live in a small, fabulous little town in Fremont County, we homeschool Austin. But we really, as a matter of fact, are working with the district nurse, because our other 2 boys, who are 4 and 6, are also cannabis patients. They've also had seizures. So we opted to utilize the plant instead of the pharmaceuticals.
Sure.
And we're working with them on official policy. Obviously, Stacy Lynn, who's a dear friend, Jack Splitt's mom, who was able to get Jack's law passed, it has really just trailblazed for the rest of us. And I couldn't be more grateful. Logic and compassion are starting to catch up with the reefer madness that people have really just, they believe. And so, but we personally, obviously, when we moved to Colorado, we didn't have anybody. We left everything. Matter of fact, Austin and I came first. My husband said that he was not going to move to Colorado. And, but he knew the first time Austin had his oil, he didn't have a seizure for 3 days. So my husband went back home and began planning on moving.
Wow.
Because he thought that our son was going to die.
Sure.
We've been watching our son die. And so when we moved, I founded, along with my husband, the American Medical Refugees Foundation, which has helped over 250 families in Colorado transition. We raise money for red cards, medicine. We host holiday events and camping trips, groceries and gas. And really, to get to your question, the thing that really everybody needs, they've given up everything. They're literally just fighting to save their loved one, their child, their spouse, and they just need access to information.
Sure.
Because we've had so lacking in research and accessibility to information and education on the plant, people aren't getting to what is effective as quickly as they need to be.
Sure. Well, I'm sure having a community around them and people being able to share stories,
yes.
you know, just the isolation of having a child that has a debilitating illness can really put a lot of pressure on families. So I'm sure there's a whole social component to this as well.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And it's overwhelming to be away from your family and friends. People don't understand that people don't just want to uproot their entire lives, leave their other family members, their jobs, to come to Colorado. That's certainly not what we wanted to do. Sure. But Colorado and cannabis has saved our son's life. So we want to help other parents and other families get that information, have that support. On our Facebook, it's a private group, but you know, you can post on the wall specifically about your child or your patient's condition, and you know, has anybody had any luck? And 30 to 100 people post on there, and you're able to get with others that share similar obstacles. And it's really turned into something absolutely outstanding. AMR is a nonprofit now in Colorado.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're very
I know that's
excited.
always fun.
Very excited, and just the fact that it's helping so many people,
Sure.
thousands of people, and directly that we get to see. We get to see this plant changing lives, saving lives, and that's just it's really it's the most humbling and honoring experience I could imagine.
Well, and you are so good at bringing people together. You know, I was fortunate enough to speak at one of your events where you bring together a really diverse panel of speakers, and everybody comes away, I feel like, really learning something. And then you've kind of, from there, now we have this premiere that's happening, you know, with an Emmy winning or Emmy nominated and Oscar-nominated producer.
He's nominated for both an Emmy and an Academy Award. He's an Emmy and an Academy Award nominee, Peter Spear. Just absolutely fantastic individual. And when we were filming the documentary The Legend of 420 last year, he was utilizing quite a few people in Colorado. And so I started pitching he and the distribution company that Denver was the real Hollyweed, and that they needed to bring their premiere here. That any films or movies that had undertones or themes of cannabis or hemp, they needed to have their premiere in Denver.
Nice. And you found a venue that was like, yeah, weed's fine.
Sure. Yes, it's Denver. We've got a couple of them around there. So it's been really exciting. We actually have two venues for the premiere. One is private, and we'll be giving out tickets to people that are at least 21 years old. You have to be 21.
Sure.
And then there's also the exclusive private premiere, and that's where the producers and the filmmakers will be there. We've also got several of the celebrities that are included in the film that are flying in to attend, and just really honored. Millennium Grown, the VIP that you spoke at, we've almost done that. It's a monthly event that's exclusive for business owners and industry leaders, movement trailblazers, so that you can get information that you need to know and really do networking on an elevated level.
Sure.
No pun intended.
Always pun intended.
But it's evolved, and because of the events, Millennium Grown is almost 2 years old now.
Yeah.
And we wanted to step up our game. And we felt like this was forward thinking. There's there's tremendous economic advantage and benefit to bringing film premieres here to Denver.
Sure, we need to be bringing more filming.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
I've got a lot of family that's in North Carolina, and they called it Hollywood East because there's so many benefits there. Atlanta is now this new hot city because there's a lot of filming. Why not Colorado?
Why not Colorado, damn it. That's exactly what I thought. And so we found out about 6 or 7 weeks ago that I was able to close the deal, and that they were bringing the world premiere here. So
and what can you tell me about The Legend of 420?
Well, what I can tell you is that I'll tell you that they were examining cannabis and its journey to legalization and how it has impacted the industry. it started with questions really surrounding 420. What do you think 420 is? Where do you think it came from?
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
Is it those kids in California?
Right?
Do we have an answer?
We do. But you have to wait for the film.
You gotta go see the film.
You have to wait for the film. But in the filming of it, which we were very fortunate that they selected our family to be included in this film. Tommy Chong, Melissa Etheridge, Henry Rollins, Michael DeBar, W.O. Brown, Jason Mraz are all included in this documentary, and it examines really what's happening past the reefer madness, and talks a little bit more about what needs to happen, what we need to do, which is end prohibition, of course. And
no more medical refugees, right?
No more medical
You're
refugees.
like, I don't want to have to help you.
This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous because you can't inundate a legal state with complex care and disabled people and not expect negative repercussions. We are already at such a capacity when you're looking at complex care kids in any school, in any state. You were talking about it earlier, I believe, about nurses and the ratio. We can't allow those types of things. And so one of the aspects of our nonprofit AMR is that we encourage the refugees to maintain political activism in their home state or country.
Absolutely.
Because currently we have 38 states and 3 different countries represented in Colorado for AMR. Wow. And for example, our family from Ireland.
Where's the farthest?
Ireland. She was able to take Tristan, her son, back with their medicine because we've been able to change laws. So I am a speechwriter for Senator Connie Johnson, who's now a gubernatorial candidate for Oklahoma, governor. Vote for Connie.
Plug-in Connie.
Go, Connie, go.
It's pot or not time. The rules are simple. I'm going to name 10 things. They're strains or they're not strains. Amy's going to tell us if they're pot or not. Are you ready?
No. No, I'm not.
All right, number 1, WTF. Is it pot or not? I forgot my pen. How am I going to score this?
I know, right? I don't know. I want to say pot.
It is pot.
It is.
Ding, ding, ding.
I never know any of this. I lose this game over and over again.
This is a new one. It's a cross of Harlequin, Canatonic, and Sour Tsunami. So it's this crazy CBD 3-way. So
nice.
Really great medical benefits there. All right, number 2, Hell's Gate. Pot or not?
I'm going to say not.
It's not. Correct. That's 2 points. That is actually The Undertaker's patented submission move. I'm reaching on these. All right, number 3, Chocolate Rain. Is Chocolate Rain pot or not?
Pot.
It is pot. Just 3 for 3, ladies and gentlemen. Escobar Seeds, cross of Chocolope, and DJ Short's Cocoa Kush.
Oh, nice.
Chocolate Rain. It's also that fun song that guy Tazon Day used to sing.
Oh, that's an old reference now, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is super old. I am showing my internet age. All right, number 4, Cannabist Kush.
Cannabist Kush?
Yep.
Well, it certainly should be a strain if it's not. I'll say not.
It's not, but get on it, people. 4 for 4, still batting 1,000. Can we trip her up with number 5, Strawberry Cough?
Oh, that's pot.
Definitely pot. Colorado favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of Strawberry Cough?
Wow.
I'm going to get you some Strawberry Cough.
I'll take it.
That'll be an engagement party present to you.
All right. Nice.
Number 6, Husky.
Oh, gosh.
Is Husky pot or not?
I'm going to say not.
It's not!
What? That's crazy.
It's a type of dog or a mean thing to call a child.
Right? That's so true.
All right, number 7, Dankenstein's Monster.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to say not.
It's not! It's Dankenstein's Monster, not pot. You guys, that's just a freebie for you guys. Number 8, Headband.
That's pot.
Definitely pot! All right, you're 8 for 8. You have tied the high score, I want to say.
And that's when he jinxes you.
Puts the jinx on it.
Why you got to jinx?
Number 9, Marionberry Kush.
Oh, gosh.
I got a lot to say about this one, but is it pot or not?
I don't know why you had to jinx me. I'm gonna say pot.
It is pot.
Right. Is it green crack or something?
So I thought it was Marion berry, but their actual fruit's called Marion berries.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, because you went to the same place with me, and then I had to Google it, and they look delicious. All right, for a chance at our first perfect score.
Oh, gosh, Jake, come on.
Number 10, smelly pasta.
Oh my gosh.
Is smelly pasta pot or not?
I'm gonna say not.
It is not! Perfect score, ladies and gentlemen! Thank you to @VNMSKN on Twitter. That was our user suggestion. Smelly pasta. You're getting a T-shirt. Venom skin, I'm going to guess, is what we say to that. Congratulations on your first perfect score. Bring it up for that.
That was awesome.
All right, let's do plugs. Where can people find more information about what the event, what's going on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. www.denverpremierevents.com will probably be the easiest way for them to get all the information they need. But definitely stay tuned. We're pitching and in discussions for a couple of other premieres.
Ooh. All right, Janae, what do you have going on?
I think that's a great idea, by the way. Bring them all here. I don't know, looking, hey there.
I like how you always address the camera like a person. You're like, hello.
I'm warming up a little bit. Hi, how are you? Okay, so you can catch me Wednesday, September 13th at Kickback Comedy with me, Janae Burris, at Call to Arms Brewery, hosted by my friend Katie Bowman. And Thursday, September 14th, I'll be in Fort Collins at the Colorado Room. Also tweet me a Negative Negro, y'all.
Nice.
And I've got nothing to plug. That was, I'm like, what can I say about what I...
Close
nothing.
to getting married again for 3 years.
Happy anniversary to Samantha, my loving fiance, and thanks for putting up with me. Thanks to Amy for joining us today. Thanks to you at home for tuning in. Thanks all around. Send us in your pot or not suggestions on Twitter and Facebook with the hashtag pot or not. Write us a review. Share the podcast. Help more people find out all this great information that we just covered. For Janae Burris, producer Vince, who is hopefully surviving Hurricane Irma, and the whole Cannabis Show crew, I'm Jake Brown. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. I'm calling any posse you'll be raising at the end. I'll say it again. Ain't afraid to get in. I'll be going for the jackpot with ace in my hand. I'm raw.